Right, Miss G joins me again, but this time it's for Joy News Interactive. Welcome again, once again.
Thank you,
Ms. G.
Israel. It's time now to be heard on the most interactive segments on Joy News Prime. Find us on facebook.com/Joy News on TV, on twitter.com@Joy News on TV, and on WhatsApp, the number is 0560 800,000. A private legal practitioner says people who want to marry must know each other sexually, since sex plays a vital role in marriage. According to her, practical sex is from experience, and from some cases she's handled over the years, she has had different opinion about no sex before marriage. We ask, do you also share the same view?
Biblically, it's quite, let me say, rejected by my doctrine, and as such you don't really have to know someone sexually before. You know, in marriage comes with a lot of, it's a package. So at every package, you don't know what is in the package before you actually, until you, let me say, unpackage it. So I believe that premarital sex should actually not be, it shouldn't actually be something we should entertain, especially in our part of the world. Other parts of the world, they have a level of a sex education that you are, when from infancy you are brought up in a way that you believe in all those things. But here, as a Christian, I don't believe that we should actually entertain. We shouldn't even talk about it, because we should talk about it because in a context of educating people, that one, it's good we educate people on, we're getting them to know the pros and cons of engaging in those things, and it should be a factor of discussion in most of the Christian families, and especially the church itself.
It's very bad, because coming to Christian perspective, I'm a Pentecostal, and whenever you engage in premarital sex, you will be punished for it. So I believe, since there is no evidence attached to you having premarital sex that ends you in a good marriage, I really does not support it.
I share the view partly because couple can stay together, get to know each other better without necessarily having to indulge in sex. So if she's saying that they should get to know each other, I agree with that. But the sex, I think from a religious perspective, I would not agree.
At this point, you're the wrong person to ask this question.
Yes.
Because you, like you say, I've been there.
Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm. So you don't pass for this one.
Okay.
No, you just said it, so we understand.
Been there, done that.
Oh, we understand you. So you can go ahead with the comments on Facebook.
Gifty quotes scripture, and she quotes, some scriptures in Corinthians. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. She goes on and on and on and on. There are 3 replies there. Jakub, okay, let me just read the replies. Thank you, madam. And let me see what, be richly blessed, learn agree. Why would anyone buy anything without trying it? What if the man you're getting married to has sexual deformation? What if the woman you're marrying is not compatible with your blood type to reproduce? You don't need to have sex before you do the blood type thing. Quoting from a storybook makes it even worse. Yakubu says, I strongly disagree with this and the under-researched finding. It's only opening the floodgates for profanity and promiscuity. Let no one imbibe this untruth, for it contravenes the very provisions of the Bible on fornication. Larry says, she's right. You need to have sex with your partner before getting married to her, or him or her. I have seen a lady who has never had sex before getting married, and when the guy wants to make love to her, she hits him with a bottle. May God help us all and forgive us all our sins. Eboyi says, then what happens to what the Bible is saying? As a student entrepreneur, I kick against that. He should sit down and should come again. Pan-African says, I think she's right, but if one could not get to the chance to have sex before marriage, it should be much of a problem, for they can help themselves. Not quite sure what you're saying. It doesn't matter before or after, all die be died. Nana Pon says. Isaac says it makes sense, but biblically it is wrong. Shepherd says knowing each other sexually will only give room to unwanted pregnancies. Elvis Okay, I'll end it there.
Okay, so premarital sex is a sin, take it or leave it, and it's coming from Elder Akwete from the Church of Pentacles in Koko. And premarital sex should not be accepted, since it's not the basis for a successful marriage, as Santua in Cape Coast sends this one. And I support him, but it's against God's word. Most marriages have collapsed, and because they didn't test each other before marriage. Abinda BBNE sends this one, and quite a number of people are accepting that, you know, it's a sin to have sex before marriage. I see you still looking at some messages. It looks like you want to read some more to us.
Okay, there's this particular message I've seen.
Okay.
That Chini says, I think I agree with the woman. Before you take a lady to the altar, you must first have a taste of what you're going for. That should be the decision of every couple on their first date. My wife and I opened fire before marriage, and we have been the best couple so far.
Wow.
I just find the phrase "open fire" that interesting. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so it's good, but it should not be a must. And Nantoma sends this one, and someone else says it's a crime. And let's see. Okay. This is from Promise. She says that it's a crime. Okay, so let's move on. So, research has revealed that young people born after 1985 have weak grip, according to the research from Winston-Salem State University of North Carolina. This is as a result of technology-related jobs by millennials. But what is the most annoying type of handshake you've ever been given?
It's the one with the tickle. I think somebody shaking your hand and tickling you at the same time. You're like, hello, what's wrong with this person? Or do I have any kind of relationship with the person that the person should shake me that way? But aside that, if you really know the person and the person maybe give you something like that, you would a bit understand. But aside that, nobody should give you that horrible handshake.
Oh, okay. Actually, it was when this hepatitis B, came up. It was at church. I was trying to shake someone, and the person was like, "Cecilia, Yaria Bow," so you don't have to be shaking people, So the person intent gave me a fist bump. Yeah. I felt bad, but I still understood the person because, maybe he was trying to protect himself or something like that. Yeah.
Most annoying handshake I ever had, like the person shake me with his fingertips.
Did you feel after that?
I felt bad, but I didn't tell the person anyway. It got me annoyed because we were shaking hands and I got to your turn and it's like there's something in my hand or he's having some quarrel with me. That's why he gave me that handshake.
It was during a program I attended and I was introduced to a friend. She was a lady friend. My friend who was then close to the friend, the lady. So he was introducing me to the lady. But the lady then, after I stretched my hand for her to shake me, she just tipped my fingers as if she doesn't want me to be a friend or she doesn't want me close to her. And I felt bad about it because I didn't know her, she doesn't know me. It was our first impression, and the kind of impression she made on me made me to think otherwise about her. Like she's this kind of people, arrogant, proud people who determine the kind of people they want to really work with, not knowing people. They just determine the kind of people they want to work with, and I felt bad about it.
Okay, Israel, this you can share your experience on.
Handshakes.
Yes. Though I know that you were born before 1985. Yes.
I really don't have. I haven't had situations where people, I don't have that kind of problem.
You don't have a lot of experiences, though. Anyway, let's share people's experience there.
A boy says a slapping type. It happens to me almost all the time when I meet my friends because I have a soft palm. Nuebete says, when I'm at a funeral where you have to shake hands with everybody, David Drasa says, shaking my friend's hand is a little bit worrying considering how rough his palm is due to overuse. And then this one, Margaret, says, handshakes at funerals are quite annoying. So my new plan is always cover my hand with a bandage so that they may think I have a fracture in it. Now, Margaret, by putting it out here, you've let the cat out of the bag. Now everybody else knows that when you have each time you have a bandage, they'll say, please take off the bandage, let me shake you. Or Henry Bass says, I nearly slapped someone who at a funeral wouldn't allow me to go. Myself, I did feel reluctance we open that too, they keep me in hand. That day I bore pass. So those are some of your
I see.
experiences,
So
Sharon.
I remember I shook a guy and my palm pained me all day. Later, I learned the guy is a mason. And this from Zinam, Bolga, and okay, so sex before marriage, we're done with that. The most annoying handshake is when you stretch forth your hand to the other person and they turn you down. Asantoa in Cape Coast sends this one to us.
Well,
and
yeah, that happens. Okay, so that is a handshake that really didn't materialize. But a lot of the time, you've seen somebody and you're thinking that you're stretching out your hand, except they're not aware that you're actually stretching out your hand. Or just at the moment when you're stretching out your hand,
they turn away.
They turn away. It's not deliberate, but yeah, that's happened to me a couple of times.
But you could just call back the person, oh, I want to shake you.
Oh, I mean, I want to shake. Oh, so by force handshake.
By force handshake. But the most annoying handshake you can ever get is when, hey, I don't know where to read this, but someone said, a wege hey girl, try it. You know, it's one from a wege hey girl. It says, try it. It's as if they have been taught in school how to shake.
In which way is that?
I don't know. I didn't go to Wege Hey. I haven't experienced one before.
Please, if we have any Wege Hey girl in the house, she should
come and show us, you know. Okay, it's very true, pa. Okay, no, this is talking still about sex before marriage, but it says that, okay, a lot of people are interested in sex before marriage. So let's see if we have another one talking about handshake, and then we can move on to some other story, okay? All right, so still all about sex before marriage. So let's move on. Finally, this story happened in 2012, but seems to have popped up again. A sterile man hired by his neighbor with 2 kids to help him get kids. Now, he paid his neighbor $2,500, and his neighbor bedded his bedded his wife 72 times, but failed anyway. Here are some of your thoughts on the issue.
I don't think it's justified, because if really you want to enter into a contract, you should know what you are entering into before you even enter into that contract. You didn't, if you really wanted to take the man on after maybe the contract has not been carried out, then you should have taken him to hospital to prove that the man was sterile, or to prove that his children are his, before he gets him to do that for him. But he taking him later after he has seen that he's sterile is not justified. I don't.
No, he didn't see he was sterile. After 72 attempts,
yes,
he got after 72 he got suspicious because he realized the wife wasn't getting pregnant. So that got him suspicious.
Hey, if the wife is not getting pregnant, you got suspicious and you took him to hospital, and it was later realized that he was sterile. It wasn't his fault, and even from the story, he's not even aware. He even thinks the children are his. So he's having a problem he doesn't know. So he's not justified. He's not justified.
What are you, Gabriel?
Yeah, just as the way Abigail is saying, okay, the man that was sterile agreed to go with the man to the hospital to check. All right. So from the onset, when the man made a contract with his neighbor, he should have known and then taken the neighbor to the hospital to check before paying him. So he's not justified to take him to court at all.
You think he's not justified?
At all, at all. He should have taken the neighbor to the hospital to check whether he's sterile or fertile.
But he didn't do that because the man had 2 children. He thought the children were for the man.
But then at the end of the day, when you were becoming suspicious, you learned that you have to take him to the hospital.
Even every contract must have a legal backing. Where is the legal backing that we've entered into a contract? Yes, there's nothing backing it. Yeah, so he's not justified.
Okay, you as a woman, would you allow this to happen to you? Let's say if you get married and your husband is sterile, would you allow, if your husband tells you, let's do this, would you allow this?
No, I don't think I'll do it. It's going to be very difficult.
Why?
Allowing another man sleep with you for about 72 times just to get pregnant. Wow, I can't do it. I don't think I'll be able to do it, no.
And what about you? Would you allow your wife to go through, what if there's pressure from the family for you to bear a child, maybe because of inheritance or chieftaincy issue?
Now, I loved my wife and I married her. Okay, so And I know what I am facing. I know what I'm going through in my marriage. My wife is cool. I am cool. So I'll not allow anybody to come and interfere into my marriage and then be pressuring me to give birth. I'll not allow my wife.
You are going to do that because of chieftaincy or inheritance. Remember that child is not going to be your child. So that child is not supposed to inherit. So if you get that man to get your wife pregnant so that you get a child, that child is not yours. So
the way Abigail is saying, that child is not your child. So later on, what if the other man decides to take responsibility of the child? Then you've lost it all.
Okay, so what's the story, Israel?
Well, I don't believe the words. I don't believe the story.
You don't believe anybody would do a thing like that?
No. I don't believe the story.
Okay, but what are people saying on social media, on
well,
Facebook?
I think people don't believe it too because there's no comment on it.
Okay.
There's no comment on it.
There's no comment on the story yet. Okay.
Hey.
But here, someone says, oh, but this is just like the DKM issue. Bad investment. The man has really enjoyed, period. But better luck next time. Kwekwa Nancy sends this one to us. And another one here says, ignorance is a disease, truly. All these come up because of illiteracy. Andy in Kokko sends this. And then, how annoying. Okay, the story about the Wege handshake is not true. And she's a Wege girl. She's called Nana. And she says, we are just ladies. Okay, so maybe they have a special handshake. Okay, so, Wahab in Laura says, hey, I can't sleep knowing that my wife is sleeping with another man. Children are not the ultimate in marriage. And that's what he sends us. And okay, so Israel, those are some messages I've received here. So over to you.
But I still stand by it. I mean, I don't believe the story. All right, that's it for the bulletin. Thank you very much, Miss G, sure. Gloria Akpene Nyako, for coming through, for bringing us entertainment and Journeys Interactive. For more news, you can log on to myjournalnight.com. We have a number of stories that you can get to read and get a lot more detail on the stories that we've heard this evening. That's it. I wish you a good night. My name is Israel Lion.
This is Joy News Prime.